Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Elevating Your Life. Oh, we're going to elevate today. I am thrilled to share with you an amazing young woman. We have with us Molly Mandelberg. She is the founder of Wild Hearts Rise Up and creator of Magnetic Influencer Collective, and also the writer and illustrator of the Wild Hearts Rise Up Oracle deck. She is the host of both Tactical Magic podcast and Reveal the Game of Life podcast, as well as a best-selling author. She is a certified NLP coach, an Access Consciousness Bars Facilitator, a Transformational Leadership Coach. Molly works with coaches, healers, and conscious leaders to broadcast their messages with ease so they can reach more people and make more money with less time spent. After 15 years as a nomad and 6 years running her six-figure business out of her self-converted Sprinter van tiny home, Molly is now homesteading in Southern Oregon. I love it. She loves helping her clients to systemize their work and master the magnetics of marketing so they can experience more freedom and make an even bigger difference. Molly, welcome, welcome, my awesome energy sister.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, so happy to have you on the show and share you with everyone. Would you like to share a little more of your background and kind of, how your business began and kind of what
Yeah.
it's been like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my business almost 10 years ago. And when I started out, I was doing hypnotherapy. And while I had have still a deep passion for that kind of inner work, where we reprogram the subconscious mind to work for us instead of against us, I was finding that I was tired of working in person at an office because I am a nomad at heart and wanted to be out in the world doing my work remotely. And I also found that a lot of the transformation I was seeing with my clients was happening before we even went into the hypnosis session. It was happening in the conversation sort of preamble before we got to the hypnosis session. So slowly I changed my focus to coaching and was trying to find, who is my ideal audience, who is my soulmate client that I most want to work with. And I found as I would sort of change my niche and build out tons of content and create a new course and launch a course and redo all of my email marketing, I realized that I had this like deep knack and capacity for marketing, for using automation, using tools, using technology to broadcast a message in a bigger way without a whole lot of work. I mean, it's work to set up, but then it's not work to keep it running, or not as much work to keep it running. And I realized I was surrounded by other coaches and healers who were amazing practitioners, but really had an aversion to marketing, and they didn't want to write the words down. They didn't know how to talk about what they do. And they really didn't enjoy using the softwares that I had found this like deep love for. So after sort of a breakthrough moment with a friend of mine, I realized that that was not something everybody else was good at, and that was something that I would really enjoy helping people with. And I just sort of changed my focus. So for the last 8.5-ish years, I've been teaching marketing to coaches and holistic practitioners and helping them to use tools that will support them over the long haul so that as they grow, it doesn't get more challenging, it gets easier to have more clients come in. It gets systemized and sort of strategic. And so, yeah, I help healers to reach more of their people by getting some of those systems in place that can make their whole operating of their business just run a lot more smoothly.
Yeah, and I bet that has been so amazing to see what you've helped others accomplish with
It is.
getting the great work they do out to other people.
Yeah.
That's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And to feel less overwhelmed while doing it. I think that we can put up sort of energetic barriers to people seeing our social media posts or people joining our email list if we have not set enough up that it would be really overwhelming to suddenly get 10 new clients because we'd have to go through all these manual systems and figure out how to onboard them and how am I going to manage that, or how would I even launch a course when I don't even have an email list to send it out to people. Like those little pieces that we think, oh, I just haven't set it up yet, I'll get to it eventually. We don't realize that there may be an energetic block to people even seeing us more when we don't have some of those systems in place. So yeah, I absolutely love getting to see that sort of barrier come down and people actually begin receiving the traction and the momentum that they've been wanting to create in their business over time.
Wow. So are you saying with the business, one of the things is branching out, like advertising or being on LinkedIn or Facebook?
Yeah, I don't think there's any one right way. I think the people preaching that they have the one right way to do marketing or to share your message are kind of full of it. I think that there is a different way to do it for each person, but we need to sort of test the waters and find where our people are and how we want to connect with them, and then begin creating a strategy or a system that works for us, that feels authentic, that feels aligned, that feels like the messaging we really want to be putting out there, so that we can find the people who want to work with us, so that we can magnetize them into our world and actually get to do the transformational work that most healers and practitioners have gotten into their line of work for.
Yes. I remember years ago interviewing an author, and he said, you could write the best book ever, but if nobody knows about it, it's not
Yeah.
going to get out there. So what would you say are some of the most important tools to implement if you're an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the energy barriers I see is many healers and heart-centered practitioner types don't like using technology. And so they want to just email someone manually and then go back and forth a few times before you land on a appointment time that would work for you both. That one thing, sending 6 emails to get one appointment booked, we don't, I think, consciously notice how much time and energy that takes. But the number one tool, I think any practitioner who's seeing clients in sessions, whether it's online or whether it's in person, having an online scheduling platform like Acuity or Calendly or something like that, a place where somebody can click a link, your regular personal calendar is synced with it so that you can't be overbooked. Having somebody be able to schedule a session with you without you having to go back and forth 5 times or 6 times or 20 times, depending on everybody's calendars. That's one of the tools that's going to take a lot of time and labor off your plate right away. And imagine if you're putting out a social media post and you suddenly have it go viral, and now there's 20 people or 200 people suddenly wanting a session with you. If you don't have that system in place, it's going to be a lot of work or really challenging to actually get those clients into your life, into your schedule. So that's the number one tool that I definitely recommend, is having an online scheduler. I like using Acuity scheduling, but there are.
So Molly, tell us about your shows, your podcasts. What got you into that?
I was really looking for more ways to have conversations with people who inspire me. That's what started my first show, Tactical Magic Podcast. So Tactical Magic is, I call it the business strategies podcast for the warrior goddess entrepreneur, but it's really a mix of healing modalities and practitioners that I either admire or that I think their modality is really cool and I want to know more about it. And also sometimes business strategists, whether it's a PR person or a marketing expert or people who use human design for their businesses. Tactical Magic is really just a toolkit of inspiring leaders that I wanted to get to know better and to showcase their magic to the world. And then my other show is called Reveal the Game of Life. And that one is really about consciousness and about our capacity to expand beyond what limits us and get curious about what else is possible. And that is co-hosted by my friend Chris Tomaso. And we were just having such great conversations about life and consciousness and how we see things and what we're learning that it felt like a crime not to be recording it. So that's sort of how that podcast got born.
I love it. I love it. And, getting that out there and sharing that information with everyone. Um, how long have you been doing the podcasts? They're so fantastic.
Thank you. Tactical Magic has been on the air since January of 2018, and I think Reveal the Game of Life started in 2021, maybe 2020. I
Yeah,
forget exactly when that one launched.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I loved having the honor of being in a one of your podcasts. It was just a
Yeah.
joy and such a thrill, and you know, getting that out there, you make such a difference for so many people and so many entrepreneurs. And something that you have talked about, and I'd love to expand on that, is peace with money.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah,
about that.
so absolutely. So one of the things that I've found over many years of working with creative people and inspiring leaders is that there's an energetic aspect to anything working in our lives. And if we are doing everything we can, taking all the actions, showing up to move the business forward or move our lives forward or move our health and wellness forward, but for some reason it's just not working, it's usually because there's an energetic component or a belief involved in that. And so for me, I used to be a traveling kind of hippie before I started my business and was a boss hippie, also still traveling. Uh, there's an energetic component to money as well. And what I found is that I started doing certain practices that when I would do them, money would become easy. It would become a sort of flow state. It would start magnetizing to me, not because of directly a post I made or a thing I launched, but because I was suddenly in alignment with money. I was in alignment with the energy of peace with money. And after I did these practices and saw the flow ramp up, and then I'd forget to do them and money would get weird again. And then I'd start doing the practices and it would turn on again. I wanted to sort of do an experiment. So I invited 100 people to join a program called Peace with Money for free, kind of for my own experiment to see, does this stuff work for other people? Am I really seeing the results that I'm seeing? And over and over and over again, people have been taking this course for years now, that it works for other people as well, that it might be an unexpected check coming in the mail. It might be suddenly a friend decides to buy you lunch, or you do the practices and then you get a client out of nowhere. You don't even know where they came from. These little, like, you know, not they're synchronicities really, but some people could call them coincidences. They tend to line up with doing these practices and unlocking pieces of our money story that have been keeping us separate from money. So it's really about recognizing that money is an energy that we can commune with. And when we treat it like a lover, like someone that we care for and want to tend to, it tends to come and hang out with us more. So I put that into a course. I also have a little quiz called What is Your Money Mindset Flavor, where you can find out if your money mindset is spicy or umami
I
or
love that.
savory or sweet. So yeah, that's all at my website, wildheartsriseup.com. You can go to the free stuff tab and find the quiz there.
Give us a couple examples of what the practices might be with the money.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is really just beginning to have a conversation with money. I think that many times, especially in the healer world that I am having conversations with practitioners a lot, there's a undercurrent of the belief that money is the root of all evil, or that to be spiritual is to not need or want or have money, that those are sort of these identities or these personalities or these assumptions that we make. And that is putting a separation between us and the energy of money. And what one practice from Peace with Money is beginning to start having a conversation and maybe apologize, but really start inviting money into your life as if it's somebody you want to be friends with, be partners with, co-create your life with, and treat it as if it's a friend. If you went over to a friend's house and you said, "Hey, I'm here to see you," and they told you you're never enough, like you come over and you're just not enough, like I'm upset with you because you're here but you're not enough for me, you wouldn't want to go over to that friend's house very much. And
Mhm.
yet oftentimes maybe a new client comes in or some kind of income shows up and we think, yeah, great, but that's not enough. That's not enough to cover the things. And so it's really an inquiry process of what's the narrative that I have around money right now? Where did that come from? And how would I like it to be instead? And how can I become a teammate and in cahoots with the energy of money to just bring a little bit more synthesis into how money shows up in my life?
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And so would you say being an entrepreneur, part of that is just kind of finding our own way, how to progress and move on as an entrepreneur? Any suggestions?
Absolutely. I think that often we compare ourselves to people who have gone before us and who are doing it, quote unquote, the right way because we see their success and we think, oh, I need to do what they're doing to get where I'm going. But over and over again, I've found through working with my clients that the way that works for us is going to be different than anything else we've seen before. And that we can only find that by experimenting and by asking questions and seeing what is the action that would create greatest results for me right now. And who am I that could choose that? What would it create if I decided to launch that course or if I decided to call it this instead of that? That kind of questioning, which is obviously easier done when you have somebody supporting you or holding you accountable to making that creation happen. That is how we find our way in business. And while there are many different platforms and many different tools and many different ways of marketing and broadcasting and many different ways of launching a course or a program, the thing that's right for you is going to feel easier than the thing you think you should be doing. I think we get caught up in a should trap quite often, and it's more important to find a sense of alignment, a sense of like yes energy in our bodies around what we're creating and how we're sharing it with the world.
I love that. So kind of listen to what feels good and
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get support. Like it's hard to bring your business to life without backup. I would not still be in business right now if it wasn't for the community and also the membership, the mentorship that I've had in my life that A, saw me as a leader before I really could see it in myself, and B, showed me the way forward when I was stuck in the weeds and couldn't see it. Like having support, having accountability, and also having mentorship from somebody who's doing it the way you want to be doing it, whether or not they're dead set on a certain framework for bringing that forward. It's yeah, it's so valuable to have support when you're moving forward in
what
a new
would you
direction
say
like
to
this.
someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, has this vision, but there's that, I'm a little scared. Can I do it? I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
Taking that step beyond that.
Yeah.
Suggestions for that? Because I know
Yeah,
that can
clarity as far
be
as
a
what
tough
should I
one.
be doing? Yeah, clarity as far as what should I be doing comes through action, not through cognition. So if you're wondering, is this the right step forward? Start trying it. Start having conversations about it. Start telling people you might be doing this and seeing if they want to, be a beta client or have an interview conversation where you just pick their brain about how they are dealing with that certain issue you're thinking about working with. Clarity comes through action, not cognition. So any tiny step towards what you think you want to do that you could take now is going to give you so much information about whether that's what you want to be doing or not. And second is that the confidence, the power that makes you believe, yes, you can do this also comes from trying it. That you will be bad at most things you try until you practice them. So don't be afraid to do it messy and imperfect first, knowing that that's the only way you can get better and get good at something. You got to be a rookie to get to being a pro.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I would think embrace the fact I'm a rookie. This is new. I'm just starting, but I'm
Yeah.
taking the steps and I'm going to be open to where I go and what I learn.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable to be a rookie, but it's
Yeah.
only through your willingness to sit with that discomfort that you can get to the other side of it. And how much more fun is it to try than to never to talk yourself out of trying?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know myself when I, ran my restaurant for all those years and then later sold my restaurant and I learned Reiki that I fell in love with and wanted to open my practice, I was very nervous. I
Yeah.
was like, but just put it out there and there you go. But it's scary to take a new step and start.
Absolutely. And you start wondering, who am I? Who am I to do
Uh-huh.
this? And do I know enough to actually help people? And the only way you find that out is by doing it.
Yeah. And then 25 years later, I love it. And now never thought I'd be doing interviews for 9 years. I love it. So, and that's another great thing about being an entrepreneur, would you say, is so many avenues can open up to us once we take those steps
Yeah.
and move and do the marketing. So how would someone listening or watching today contact you to get involved and get some coaching and information and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is Wild Hearts with an S, HEARTS, riseup.com. And I have a bunch of free resources on there. I also have my online courses and programs on there. And there's also a big button in the middle of the home screen that says book me or book with me. And that's where you can book a conversation and see if working together would be a good fit. I'm not going to convince anyone. I'm not going to sell you on anything. But if you are looking for support to grow your business, if you've been thinking about leading workshops or finally putting that course or program together and you're just spinning your wheels and not taking that step forward, that's my sweet spot. So I would love to have a conversation with you
Oh,
and let you know what it's like to actually work with me and see if it would be something that would open the path forward for you. But yeah, wildheartsriseup.com. And then the place that I'm focusing most of my content creation engagement stuff on is Instagram. So I'm at wild_one, that's ONE_rising, wild one rising on Instagram.
oh, I love it. I love it. And share a little bit what we can expect with signing up for one of your courses.
Yeah, I have a lot of different courses out there. My beige flag is that I can't stop making things. I keep having ideas and then bringing them to life. But I have a course on how to create, launch, and deliver your first or next online course or program. I have a course on how to hire, train, manage, and onboard a virtual assistant. I have a course called Email Marketing Mastery for anybody who's out there not starting their email list. That's definitely something I recommend doing with any kind of service-based business. Any business really should be growing an email list. And yeah, I have the Peace with Money program on the website as well. There's lots of options out there. One of my favorite offerings is called the Tactical Magic Cohort, which is a monthly membership. We do 2 live calls, which I'm going to be leading one right after we finish this call today. And that is ongoing monthly support for actually doing the copywriting of your business. And then one call each month is doing the inner excavation work. So it's a writing group for people who maybe avoid writing most of the time. And we have one strategy call and one inner game focused call each month.
Oh my gosh, that is brilliant. That is
Yeah.
so amazing. Oh my
Thank
gosh, you are just changing so many lives and helping so many people with their businesses, Molly. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful.
you.
That is cool. So, uh, what would you say just to someone that really wants to start their business and take that first step? I mean, could someone contact you to just get some help with that and you
Yeah,
could just
absolutely. But what I
give
would
them
say
the
to them
whole,
is yeah, talk yourself into it, not out of it.
oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, well, we have about 3 minutes left in the show. Molly, what last words do you want to share with everybody today?
Yeah, I think right now we live in a world where it is easier than ever to be an entrepreneur. It is easier than ever to broadcast your message, to sort of exit the 9 to 5 matrix of reality that we've used to believe was the only way to move forward. There are an insane array of tools and things that are out there to support you. And I think that as that becomes more common and more prevalent, it's easy to think that the market is flooded, that there's no room for me out there, that it's going to work for them and not for me. And that's sort of why I said, talk yourself into it, not out of it. The biggest component in growing as an entrepreneur and finding success, especially as a service-based practitioner, is that inner voice telling you whether it will or won't work. So to anyone out there who's thinking about embarking on a dream or who's trying to keep a dream alive, how you talk to yourself, how you talk about that dream to yourself is a huge component in whether you move that direction or not. So be really aware of your words, ask big questions about what else is possible, and yeah, believe.
Yeah. And if you could go back to your first few years in business, what would you tell yourself?
The biggest thing I would tell myself is to stop comparing myself to other people and to
Ah,
focus on what I want to create.
oh, I love that. I love that because it is natural for us. First thing is like, will I be as good as them or will I be as successful? Or you're right. And just having confidence in ourselves and taking those steps is huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a practice. We have to learn how to speak to ourselves differently to create a different thought pattern. But that is something that through repetition and practice and, healing work, we can change how we speak to ourselves. And that's the biggest component in things working or not working that I've found.
Yeah. And that repetition and practice is really key, isn't it? And creating new
Yeah.
habits and just moving forward. Oh my goodness. Molly, you are just an inspiration and so happy to have you on the show. This has been so fantastic. And I'm honored to be on one of your podcasts. Your podcasts are so fantastic. So I
Thank
really
you,
want to
Paula.
say thank you for all
Yeah.
that you
Thanks for
do for
having me.
others. And everyone out there, thank you for joining us today. So happy to share Molly with you. Love, hugs, and blessings. Molly, love, hugs, and blessings.
Thank you.